beautiful souls. My name is Natalie Rose. Welcome to my channel. And I am back on the road. It was a beautiful visit. And I'll talk more about what happened later. But I'm back on the highway now, and this is such a beautiful drive, this little stretch of highway. It's on 285, leaving Santa Fe toward Klein's Corners. And I highly recommend this drive if you're headed to Santa Fe from 40, rather than going all the way through Albuquerque, because it's just so gorgeous. And it is like a smaller highway, so it's only 2 lanes, but it's just, the views are unbelievable. And so I'll record a little bit through here to let y'all see. Again, I do not have my mic hooked up. I know that my voice is not as amplified as usual. I'll try to talk loud so you don't have to turn your volume way up, but it was such a wonderful, wonderful journey, and I'm, in this moment now, heading back home. I've missed my husband so much, and my family, and my daughter, and it'll be so good to get back to see them. And I feel really good. I got up and I had a little over a mile walk. And my dad went with me. It was really nice. We had a very nice walk together this morning, and then we talked for a while, and I left a little later than I anticipated. But that's okay, because every moment is sacred, and we need to hold those moments sacred, because you never know when you're going to ever get another chance. And so living life like each moment is our last moment. Your senses fill with everything, and it helps to not only be really, really peaceful and happy in that moment, but also to build better memories. And over this rise here, we're coming up on this little hill, and there should be like a really, really pretty scenic view, if I'm remembering correctly. It's been a while since I've been on this drive. When I lived here, I used to live in Santa Fe, and I lived here for about 5 years, and I loved it so much. Oh no, this is not the right one. It'll be coming up ahead. Whenever I lived here, I used to really love driving this drive, just to feel free. And gas is expensive, and so it was a little out of my pocket to make this drive, but I always just felt so free, and it just gave me that time in this really natural landscape, just to admire the beauty of the planet. And I still love it, and I never get tired of it. And we ended up having to move back to Texas, which is where my husband grew up, for family reasons, for like medical and socio-emotional reasons, to take care of our family. And I've really missed living in Santa Fe. It was really beautiful. I mean, there were issues, there were problems, of course. There are anywhere you go, especially when you're not healed. I was not healed at the moment. And so, problems tend to follow you wherever you go, if that's all you see. But I really loved the natural feel of it. It's such a beautiful place. I love the culture. I really tried to immerse myself in the culture and the art, and it was just a beautiful, beautiful time. And I loved the school that I worked at. I loved my teaching job. I taught science, 6th grade science, and it was really, really, really fun. most of the time. COVID kind of changed things for teachers. At first, we were the heroes, and everybody was so impressed that we could just adapt like that, and go online and make sure that we were still educating the kids. But very, very quickly, those of us who were doing it correctly were ignored, and the ones who weren't doing it correctly and weren't taking the time and effort to really make it a good, enriching experience for the kids, they kind of took the limelight or the spotlight, and people got really mad at us as teachers, and it didn't matter if you were doing the right thing or not. And so it was really hard when we came back in person. A lot of parents were really mad at us, and it wasn't even for anything that we had done. And well, at least I can speak from my perspective, because teaching hands-on science is a very, very difficult thing when your kids are all on computer screens and you can't really see what they're doing. And I made sure, we didn't have the equipment, but I rewrote every lesson that I taught with stuff you can find around your house. And so I created hands-on lessons and labs for my kids so that they could still get the experience and the knowledge and see it firsthand. I really think that science needs to be taught firsthand, hands-on. You see the phenomena in action, and then you research it and write about it and think about it. And I taught inquiry science, which is about being curious and figuring it out and using facts and being really skeptical of what everybody else says. You don't just blindly read a book and be like, okay, that must be the truth because some guy 500 years said so. Or I guess not 500 years, but 50 years ago said so. That's what I'm going to believe is fact. No, that's not science. Science is about disproving things that people believed because maybe they didn't do the correct tests, or they believed they had an opinion about something, or they misread the data, and now you've come up with a better experiment that better exemplifies the phenomena, and it's, you kind of disprove each other. That's kind of the whole point of it. And so I loved the curiosity in my kids. I kind of let them come to the conclusions on their own. And that was really, really, it was a fun time. Even online, my kids, we had an issue with other teachers saying that their kids were not coming to class and they would only have like a few show up online. But my kids all came because they knew there was fun stuff to do. And, most of the stuff that they needed for it was stuff they already had around their house. I knew what my kids had around their house. They weren't rich kids. They didn't have, I taught in a Title I school, and they weren't rich. They didn't have money to go out and buy stuff. And so I would just, let them know, hey, save a 2-liter bottle or, a 20 ounce if that's all you got. And I would demonstrate it, of course, for the kids that couldn't get those things. Because, of course, there are kids, either they don't think about it, or they forget, or they just don't have access to it. And so I would, of course, demonstrate on camera. And I had a really great time teaching online. It was nothing like teaching in person. I preferred that, but it was still really fun. And so I was kind of sad to leave that school, and the position that I had is now vacant at my school. But it's not time for me to be back here. If I'm ever meant to move back here, it's not the time right now. Right now, my family needs me in Texas, and it's only temporary. But so is everything. Everything's only temporary. Everything is impermanent. And I think being able to let go of the past and just be grateful for those wonderful times, and just embrace the present moment and understand that nothing is forever, that everything could change in any moment, and I'm probably going to have to adapt. My whole life has been that way. Every time I tried to make a plan for anything, it wouldn't work out because something would happen that would completely derail my whole set of plans. And so I became super, super adaptable. And it's really, really wonderful. It's really, really wonderful to just live like that in peace and just acceptance, I think, is key. Oh, wow, there's like a bunch of ravens. Wow, look, ravens. Oh, they're so pretty. There were 5 of them. 5 ravens. Ravens are really, really important to me. Every time I see them, I feel that I'm being supported and loved and encouraged to think deep and watchful, be watchful. So maybe coming up here, I need to be watchful. There are 5 of them, which I take the number 5 as the sacred, divine, feminine, and empowerment. And so I probably need to just take a moment and be watchful here up on the road. So I'll be back with you guys in a bit. Really blurry. Oh well. I'll try again later. Look at these huge trucks in front of me. There's 2 of them, and they're got these huge spools of what looks like cable. Wonder where they're headed. It's a lot of cable. So I'm getting onto 40 now.
Continue on I-40 East for 233 miles.
These trucks can't go very fast. This cable must be really super heavy.
There's construction ahead.
Yeah, there's construction ahead. And I'm so grateful for GPS. I think that was such a good invention. I remember when I was a kid, we took many, many road trips when I was young. I remember using maps, like full-blown maps and atlases, and my parents, I remember watching them sit and plot out the path and what stops we were going to make along our route, and then my mom would navigate, my dad would drive. My mom would drive sometimes. They would trade off. But it was mostly my dad driving and my mom navigating. And then I remember when MapsGo came out, they were able to download their maps with all the stops that they wanted. And so that took less time, so it was easier on them. And then I don't even know if MapsGo is still around. But that was what they used for a very long time. And then I don't remember what they used after that. But it wasn't too long after that GPS became like a big thing, and it wasn't too long after that and you know, you could get nav in your car. You would get like a Garmin, or like those just like a nav in your car. And then when cell phones became really like widespread, then I don't think you could get GPS on them at first, because the old phones didn't have GPS. They weren't smartphones. They just made calls and then eventually made texts. But man, I put off getting a smartphone for years. I really just wanted to stick with my old Nokia flip phone. It was my favorite phone, and I wanted, whenever mine finally, I think I dropped yeah, that's what it was. And the last phone that I had was an LG slider, and I loved that phone. It was so cool, and it took cool pictures, and it was just a really, really neat phone. And I took it to the botanical gardens and dropped it into a pond, trying to catch like the perfect picture of a turtle or something. And I was so sad about it, and so I wanted to get something similar, but they did not have anything similar, and they said you have to get a smartphone. It's the only thing you can get now. And so I finally buckled down and got myself a cell phone, or a smartphone, and I've been addicted to them ever since. Isn't that funny? Was not addicted to my phone before, except for like taking pictures and stuff. Ooh, look at this oversized load. I wonder what's in this thing. Here, I'm gonna pass him. Wow, that's huge. Wow, it's like the size of a silo. But I am very, very grateful for GPS now. And luckily, for a long time, cell phone service wasn't really good cross country, so you would hit spots where your GPS would go out, and then you'd have to get to a place where you'd get back loaded up. And now I haven't had a problem with it cutting out, except for maybe 2 places on this journey. I'm gonna get over. I don't know what this guy's doing. I'm gonna let you go for a second. Okay. I think I'm past all the oversized load truck. I think he was just advertising that it was an oversized load, warning people. Oh, look at that view. It's so pretty. And it's a beautiful day. It's like, right now it's in the 50s. Well, it says it now it's 65. It was 50s when I left this morning. Now it's 65. It's just so pretty, and it's like crisp and cool and beautiful day for a drive. So it's funny because the weather that we had when I got there into town, got to my parents' house, it was very, very rare weather, because generally there is not a lot of rain, and there will be rain like in the evenings. If a rainstorm does come along, it lasts for a few minutes and then it's gone. It blows by pretty quick. But man, it rained and rained and rained and thunderstormed for like 2 days straight. And so the first day I was there, we just laid around the house and looked at old photos. And my dad has all the like family photos and stuff hooked up to his computer, which is also hooked up to his widescreen TV. So we all just curled up on the couch with blankets and looked at old photos and looked at old trips they had gone on, and it was really, really nice. I needed the rest anyway after that drive. And then the next day, it did stop raining for a little while. There was like a break in the clouds, and so we went downtown to the plaza in Santa Fe, and we hung out we went into the New Mexico Museum of Art, and it was this really cool exhibit. George Bowman, I believe his name was, who was a printmaker in Santa Fe for many, many years. And then that was really cool. And then we went shopping a little bit, and I got gifts for everybody on my list, and I even bought a really pretty pair of earrings for my mom that she picked out. She wasn't gonna get them, and so I just put them with my stuff and got them for her anyway. And then we went home and had a nice evening, just relaxing, watching TV together. then the next day we drove out to Pecos River, and I've got some footage of that, which I will put in here. I didn't take a whole lot of footage while I was there because I really just wanted to be present. And recording sometimes takes me out of that presence because I'm kind of focused on my phone rather than actually focused on the moment and what is going on. And I really needed to take that time to be present and really aware. And but I'll show you guys the footage that I did get. Wow. Oh, here comes the rain stronger. This is private property, so I can't walk onto the property, but look at that forest. And the leaves are changing, it's so pretty. It smells so good out here. It feels so fresh. And the leaves are starting to change. Wow, look at that. and hear the voice of the Great Spirit. Look at this tree, very old. I would hug it, except it's covered in lichen and I don't want to harm the things that are living on it. It's also got a lot of spider webs, so she's definitely caring for a lot of animals and plants, and of course lichen. I don't think lichen is a plant or an animal. I don't really know what it is. Look at all those webs. And there's lichen. And then your skin can actually harm the lichen, the oils from your skin. So it's best not to touch them and just let them survive. Let me just put my hand on the tree. Such a beautiful day. All that rain has made the river nice and full. It's a little damp, but a little slippery, but other than that, it's just gorgeous. Very lush. Hard to believe this is near a desert. So it was a really, really beautiful trip. It was really good to get some time in nature. Gosh, it rejuvenates you. Just getting out there where things are wild and taking some time to just be peaceful with it. We didn't have a long time to be able to I didn't get to really meditate like I would have liked. But that's not what this trip was about. This trip was about some soul healing, spending some time with my parents. And for many years I was very, very angry with my parents, and my childhood was not easy by a long shot, and I was really, really, I had a lot of resentment toward them for a long time. And around the time I had my daughter, I decided to forgive them, because being a parent is hard, and my parents were not the healthiest people when they became parents. Well, my mom wasn't very healthy at all when she had us, when she became a mom, and my dad came later. He's my stepdad. He's the dad that didn't have to be my dad, and he chose to be here, and so I forgave them, and it was such a relief. But for many years, even after that, I would say to myself, well, I forgive them, but I'll never forget. And so I was still carrying a resentment, and I didn't remember very many good memories. I remembered a lot of bad memories, and it was eating me away inside. It was killing me slowly. And so recently, with all the work I'm doing on myself, I've come to realize that even though it is a part of my story, and where that story is useful to others, then that story needs to exist. But as far as my life, it doesn't need to exist anymore. And what is fascinating about that is when I decided to let go and forgive and forget, I'm starting to rewrite my childhood. Because now that doing all this shadow work, it pulls up all the stuff that's been hanging around in the shadows for so long that I never was able to deal with in the moment. And now I'm dealing with it. And as I deal with each little thing that comes up, now the stuff that's coming up is the good memories. And so I'm being able to rewrite my history in my mind. And I'm finding that there are a lot more positive memories than I was allowing myself to remember. It was like the pain of remembering the painful stuff was so much that I just couldn't do it. And so I just kept stuffing it and burying it and burying it. Well, when I started just letting it out and releasing it and feeling it and experiencing it, now it leaves room for when those things come across my mind. They're just like a backstory. And the true story is all of it, all the good, all the bad. And my parents did a lot of really great things. They taught me a lot of really, really good things for survival. And they still do. I mean, even whenever I go visit them like this, you know, they share a lot of wisdom. And I can let go of the things that I see as defects. The things that I see as defects in myself, that I also see in my parents. I can let those things go and I can accept them. And I can take in the stuff that is so valuable. Their years of experience. And my parents have been on a healing journey as well for most of their lives. So they have a lot of wisdom to share. And it was really, really great having that time with them. It's great every time I see them now. It wasn't always that way. It wasn't always that way. Sometimes there were arguments. And sometimes I didn't want to see them anymore. But just forgiving is so healing. You gotta forgive your parents. Because parenting is not easy and it doesn't come with a book. And we all carry generational trauma and defects that were passed down to us. And some of us decide to heal that stuff and some don't. But it's not up for us, our own personal selves, to decide whether somebody should heal or how they should heal. And I've come to accept my parents for who they are and really, really, truly love them unconditionally. And it was something years ago that I didn't think would ever happen. And I'm so, so grateful for it now. And I'm grateful for them. I'm so, so grateful that they were my parents. Because my life would not be what it is. And I'm really glad I got to spend that time with them. I do feel like a little bit of a different person coming back from this trip. I feel a little more wild. I got a little bit of that wild energy in me. That little wild woman in that oracle deck. I'm feeling it. And I'm feeling a little more mature. And that little person inside of me that was so traumatized and so in pain that I had to do the soul retrieval on, she's now integrated and knows that everything is okay and we're safe now, and my parents are so much more healed than they were when I was a child, and they continue to do the work, and that's such an inspiration for me. because I want to continue doing the work as well. And this guy, I guess I wasn't going fast enough. But look, he's gonna have to slow down for the guy in front of him, because that's why I wasn't getting all the way up there. Oh well, you just gotta accept it. You just gotta accept their energy. They're in a hurry. They're ready to get home, and this is a long stretch of highway. And then that's the way the life is. It's a long stretch of highway. You just gotta take your time and enjoy the scenery, and enjoy the smells and the sensations, the sun on your skin, the wind and the rain. Just love every second. And I think so many people just live so outside of it. It's so sad. But not me. I'm gonna continue this. Keep doing the hard work and dissolving my ego and trying to be a better person. Here, I'm gonna get past this guy real quick, because he is gonna go slow. There we go. Give him some space to get over. And now I should be able to get over here. There we go. Ah, what a beautiful day. Just breathing it in. Look at that view. My gosh, you can see like so far. Wow. I think that's that way off in the distance. I think that's that plateau, that mesa, that rain cloud. I thought the rain cloud was over. That's so funny. I was so excited about the rain, and it rained so much while I was on that trip. It was so pretty. It was so cold though. It was a very cold rain, and so it's very good. You never know what to expect up in higher climates or higher altitudes, and in that climate, you never know what you're going to need to pack. And so I packed a little bit of everything. I took t-shirts, I took tank tops, I took sweaters, I took a hoodie. You just never know. And it turned out perfect, because everything I brought, I wore. And it was just like every day was a little different, and I needed something different. And it was just perfect. Of course, I can't really take the credit for that, because that was spirits. You just ask spirits to help with anything you're doing, and man, they just know. They know what to do. And so I helped them. They helped me. I helped them, really. I was the action involved, and they were making the decisions. I just kind of listened to my intuition and heard what they told me, and I did what they said, and it was perfect. It was exactly what it should have been. And oh wow, look at that. Stretches off so far. I've seen a lot of motorcycles out while I'm driving. When I was young, I always thought that would be fun to go cross country on a motorcycle, but man, it's so dangerous. There's no way I would do it now. I was a little more reckless when I was younger. Now I don't think I really need that kind of danger in my life. But I think a cross country in a camper van would be really fun. So I just passed into Texas again, and I just felt that energy change. Like, oh, it's so interesting. Like, it's just, everything feels denser. I mean, I know that the air is thicker because I'm at a lower altitude, but it's something like different that I feel. There is a definite difference in energy. And it was like, it just happened all of a sudden. It was like, oh, I'm in Texas. So interesting. But it's good to be back in Texas. I'm gonna miss the nature, I'm gonna miss the undeveloped wildness. But luckily I'm taking some of that energy with me. Getting out in the forest really built it up. Really, it's like recharge. It's like a recharge of our wilder natures. I haven't been camping in so long. It makes me want to go camping. Because imagine, I used to camp when we were younger. And it really recharges you. So, I don't know if I can camp now, though, with my back pain. Although it has been a lot better since I've been doing more yoga and everything. I have a broken back and a broken neck from many, many years ago. And I've been told that I'll probably have to have surgery. But I'm going to try to hold it off as long as I possibly can. And doing yoga really, really helps to keep things aligned and balanced and stretch the muscles so they're not overworking constantly. And that's what the pain is. The pain is just the overworked, overstressed muscles from when my back goes out of alignment. So aligning it back up helps a lot. And fortunately, it's not too bad, the pain right now. It's on this drive. I was a little bit concerned about it, but it hasn't been too bad. But I just feel like maybe sleeping on the ground at my age and my physical ability might be a little painful. So I think just brief excursions, day trips for now until I really feel like I can get back to camping, if I ever decide to camp again. I can always do the glamping thing. Glamping is very popular. And if I did like a cross-country trip, I would be sleeping in my camper anyway. So, and then I would be in nature and in a comfortable bed. And have some room for yoga. Alright, so here I am on the last stretch, and I've got to wrap this up because I am almost out of storage space again. And this journey has been amazing. On a shamanic path, you just go where you're told to go. You do what you're told to do because you're not in service of yourself. You're in service of others, the world, the universe. And I just every morning pray that I can be taken on into service. And I just do what I'm told. And this has been a really, really marvelous adventure. It's been delightful. And I'm so grateful that I could share it with you. And if you're still here, thank you so much for watching and journeying with me. And I had some really amazing things happen, occurrences, messages that have occurred while I've been on this journey, and I'll probably speak on them later, or I won't. Who knows? But I just want you to know that I love you all.